第一位为我们这一节发言的来宾是 Dr. Thomas TABERY， 德国慕尼克巴伐利亚州立图书馆东亚馆藏负责人，有请 Dr. TABERY。
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Thank you for the invitation to this conference. It's a pleasure for me to be one of the speakers here. It's my first time to Macau. It's a beautiful place. I'm happy to be here. And when I arrived here at the MGM, it felt a little bit like being at home. Not because the place where I live is as luxury as this hotel, but because I saw that you were celebrating German Bavarian Beer Festival here at the MGM, and you might know that the original of this festival, the Oktoberfest, the Dogo Pijiujie, is held every year end of September in Munich, where I'm from. So you see there's exchange on all kinds of levels, and I'm happy that I can contribute to this exchange, not representing the traditional Bavarian culture or Bavarian beer culture, but representing the Bavarian State Library. And I will tell you something about digitizing Chinese rare books and manuscripts at our library in the past years. I will start with a few words about the library and the question, how come that there's quite a large number of Chinese books and manuscripts in Munich? The Bavarian State Library, located in Munich in the south of Germany, is one of the large European universal and research libraries. You see some figures in terms of our holdings on this slide. That means that we are addressing not so much to but not so much to a local usage, but to a national and an international, national and international users and researchers. Very similar, like the situation in Berlin, for example. My colleague from Berlin, Matthias Kaun, just told you about the situation in Germany this morning. The library has about 800 employees, an annual budget of 50 million euro, and quite a long history. It was funded in 1558 by Duke Albrecht V as court library of the House of Wittelsbach. Chinese books have been collected in Munich almost from the beginning of the library. The Bavarian rulers in Munich were, like many others at their time, interested in faraway and exotic countries, and as committed Catholics, they were supporting the Jesuit missionaries in China. And so, quite a number of Chinese books came into the possession of the Bavarian court as gifts from these missionaries. The first mention of Chinese books goes back to a list dated 1618. There were only 3 or 4 books on this list, but still, this is the first document that shows clearly that at that time already there were Chinese books parts of the library's holdings. The acquisitions during these days were not systematic at all. Things changed in the 19th century. Several large and quite systematic acquisitions allowed the library to establish one of the largest Chinese collections in the Western world at that time. Acquisitions that are linked to the names Neumann, Martucci, Quatremer, and Reismüller. I go a little bit into detail here, as I'm often asked why are there so many old Chinese books in Munich. It was Carl Friedrich Neumann who had chosen approximately 6,000 Chinese books in Guangzhou in 1830-31, covering a broad range of literature. More than half of these found their way into the Munich Court Library. The rest went to the Royal Library in Berlin, today Berlin State Library. 2,700 volumes were added by Onorato Martucci's collection in 1851. King Ludwig I met the Italian merchant and adventurer during his Italian journey and bought his collection of Chinese art objects and books, containing a rich collection of works originating from Guangdong. So many Cantonese popular ballads and so on. And some of these works can't be found in China anymore. So this is why we contributed to a large publication project, the Guangzhou Dadian, with around 60 works from our collection that are included in this collection of publications from Guangzhou, from Guangdong province. Finally, the library of the French Orientalist Etienne Quatremer, which was purchased in 1858, contained another 2,000 Chinese and Manchurian works. Bought during a purchasing journey in the year 1929, Georg Reismüller added around 18,500 Chinese books to the Munich collection, including many provincial gazetteers, Zhong Shu Lei Shu, and so on. So throughout its 450 years of history, the library built up a Chinese collection of today 230,000 volumes. The whole collection is electronically catalogued in Pinyin transcription and original language and can be searched through our online catalog. And amongst the collections, amongst those titles, you find quite a large number of Chinese rare books or ancient books published before 1911. We're talking about 30,000 volumes. We held around 3,000 Chinese manuscripts. Many of these are religious manuscripts of the Yao people, Yaozu, dating from the 18th and to the 20th century, originating from the southern part of China, from Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. The current acquisitions focus on the arts disciplines of pre-modern China, and the holdings are supplemented by literature on China in non-Chinese languages. Now, after some figures and some information on the history of Bavarian State Library's Chinese collection, now to the actual topic of my presentation. It's digitization, long-term preservation, and access. In 2011, the library has launched extensive digitization projects to make this collection more clearly visible and more easily accessible for the public and the scholarly community around the world. With financial support from the German Research Foundation, 12,000 volumes dating from the 17th century and earlier have been fully digitized, and about 1.1 million digital images have been produced. The digitized items include about 20 Song and Yuan dynasty printings. The majority of these are printings, are Buddhist texts, many of which were part of early canonical editions. more than 100 Ming Dynasty printings, several thousand printed volumes dating from the Qing Dynasty, a significant number of printings of Western missionaries in China, and there are also 90 scrolls and folders, sutra bindings, including 3 scrolls from Dunhuang dating back to the Tang Dynasty. In a first step, the items were restored, if necessary, by specialists of the Institute of Book and Manuscript Conservation of our library. A Japanese restorer working there is very familiar with this kind of material. In a second step, the digitalization was taking place. The digitalization was carried out in the Munich Digitalization Center. It belongs to the Bavarian State Library. It's one of its departments, and is in charge of the digitalization of our library's manuscripts, incunabula, printings of the 16th century, and all other old and valuable items. The digitalization comprises the scan process, the quality control of every single image, and the capturing of structural data as a table of contents. Various digitalization techniques were used, depending, for example, on the paper texture, or on whether there are thin, separate fascicles, or thick European-style bound volumes that contain several fascicles. On this slide, you see on the right side one of those volumes where several fascicles are bound together in European style. 5% of the digital images were produced using scan rubbers. The decision whether to use scan rubbers or not basically depended on the paper texture and the paper weight. If the paper is too heavy, scan rubbers don't work, as they use air sucking the pages. In each volume, important structural features, like, for example, chapter headings, chapter numbers, prefaces, epilogues, included words, illustrations, or ownership seals, are captured as a table of contents. Here you see an example. On this title page, there are 2 ownership seals, and you find them on the left side in the table of contents. The last steps were long-term preservation and web access. As you all know, long-term preservation is a big challenge. How does the Bavarian State Library face this challenge? The digital library of the Bavarian State Library has been engaged in long-term preservation activities since 1999. In cooperation with the Leibniz Computing Center, it has worked on a comprehensive organizational and technical infrastructure for long-term archiving since 2004. The Leibniz Computing Center is the computing center of the Bavarian Academy of Science and one of the large computing centers in Germany. The library uses the digital archiving software Rosetta, Digital Management and Preservation from Ex Libris. It allows an efficient and largely automated ingest and archiving of the data, as well as access to the data via online catalogs and so on. Oh, sorry. I was just telling you what you can read on this slide. No. Okay. Together with the Leibniz Computing Center, the Digital Library runs one of the largest electronic archives in Germany. At present, the archive contains an overall amount of 65 terabytes of data, more than 1.5 billion files. that digitized works are freely accessible through a number of tools. For example, through the library's digital collections and online catalog, through WorldCat, through the Union Catalog of Chinese Rare Books of the National Central Library in Taipei, and through virtual libraries like, for example, Crosatia. You heard about Crosatia this morning. And through Europeana, the virtual library of the European Union. The online catalog of the Bavarian State Library has been optimized so that crawlers of search engines can crawl our metadata. And with that, our digitized works, as they are linked to our metadata. The search engine Google, for example, has done this. Finally, there's another way to access the digitized works. We built a separate free website, the Digital East Asia Collections. The website is in German, English, Chinese, offers two search modes, a systematic search and a simple search. That's the search that scans both bibliographical data as well as table of content, opinion and original script, and Zoom technology is used to present the oversized material. This means the scrolls and the foldouts. As an example for the systematic search, you can browse, for example, 16th century, and you see that from 1524, in 1524 there is a publication, the Wenqian-Tong. There are 3 tabs below each item when displayed. Tab 1, here are all title information with all the bibliographical data displayed. Tab 2, the table of contents, giving direct access to specific structural and content-related parts of the items. And the 3rd tab, display volumes. Should the results display an item consisting of several volumes, all the individual volumes are listed here. Scrolls and foldouts can be viewed in stepless zoom, as I mentioned already. If you click on Zoom Viewer, you can zoom in and out the digitized item. So, as an example, here you see our Tripitaka Zhaocheng Jincang from the 12th century. It was scanned section by section first, then the images were stitched together so that you have one large image, and now you can zoom in this image and to have, for example, a closer look to the frontispiece. Let me point out that the website with all the images is freely accessible online. The images are available as JPEGs with 72 dpi. Free PDF download is possible. The TIFFs with 300 dpi are not freely accessible but can be provided, for example, for reproductions. The website will be relaunched in 2017 using the standardized IIIF technology, International Image Interoperability Framework. This is what IIIF stands for. And this website also contains digitized versions of Chinese and Japanese printings from the 18th and 19th century, created in cooperation with Google. And now we're talking about the second pillar of the digitalization at the Bavarian State Library. Since 2007, there's a public-private partnership between our library and Google. And other library partners of Google are, for example, as you probably all know, libraries of University of California, Columbia University, Harvard University, Keio University, and so on. Around 1 million copyright-free volumes dating from the 17th to the 19th century of the holdings of our library have been scanned by Google so far. Among these, several thousand Chinese volumes and a significant number of Western titles on East Asia. Google keeps a digital copy of each work scanned. These copies are integrated into Google services, and the library gets a library-free copy that is accessible, for example, via the online catalog of our library. Now, to sum this up, the digitalization in Munich is based on two pillars. Firstly, there's the in-house digitalization at the library's own Munich Digitalization Center. Manuscripts, incunabula, printings of the 16th century, and all other old and valuable items are processed there. The results, high quality scans in color. Secondly, there's the cooperation with Google, which covers copyright-free printings of the 17th, 18th, and 19th century. The results are in black and white. They're black and white scans with quite low resolution compared to what is produced in the library's digitization center. Let's have a look at the current figures. There are 1.2 million digitized volumes now. 1 million volumes have been scanned by Google. Among these, you find around 15,000 Chinese volumes. And about 200,000 volumes have been scanned in the library's digitization center. Among these, the 12,000 Chinese volumes produced in the project I just mentioned. So as a result, today, the majority of out-of-copyright Chinese titles of the Bavarian State Library are fully digitized and freely accessible online. We're talking about 25,000 volumes. I come to the end. Considering the large number of digitization projects, today the major challenges of digitizing Chinese collections or library collections in general are not so much of a technical nature. Rather, amongst other things, the challenges ahead are to do with improving the visibility of the digitized items, integrating them into established and widely used search environments, and ensuring the long-term preservation of digitized objects. Thank you.